Very good afternoon to all. So, myself Dr. Vijay Kumar, working as Assistant Professor of Economics, Department of Social Science and Humanities, School of Applied Science and Humanities Science, Vignan Foundation for Research, Science and Technology. So, today as a part of civil service examinations, civil service classes, today I am going to discuss about the topic is agriculture reforms and farmers welfares. For the boosting of agriculture productivity, the government of India has introduced two committees for strengthening the agriculture sector in India. Okay, so mainly we will focus on two committees, especially Swaminathan Commission and also Ashok Dalwai Committee reports. Okay, so we will discuss in detail what is the need of these committee reports for enhancing the farmers' income. Not only the farmers' income, we used to think that agriculture has to become enterprise. So, in that context, we will discuss what are the recommendations, what are the policies were framed by these commissions, and before that, what is the necessity of these committee reports. Okay. First, before going to this topic, we will discuss brief about agriculture sectors. As we know all that agriculture predominantly is an agrarian economy in the Indian context. Okay. Apart from that, farmers, because agriculture sector in the Indian context, it contributes 16 to 18% GDP towards the India's GDP. Apart from that, 50% of the workforce are depend on rural livelihood. Okay. So, that is why in the Indian context agriculture sectors plays an important role. Despite of this contribution towards the India's economy, the Indian agriculture facing lot many challenges. Okay. So, here we can see that farmers facing challenges like especially low incomes. No doubt in one side we are the agriculture production level, we are the topmost to achieve food security, but in terms of profitability of farm income, we are getting less income, especially for farmer side. Okay, so that one has the major challenges. We can see that. Second one is fragmented land holding. Nearly 70 to 80% of the farmers are comes under small and marginal farmers. So that is what the fragmented land holdings is the major challenges were faced by the Indian agriculture. Apart from that, climate risk is one of the globally we are seeing that is one of the major challenges we are facing by the Indian agriculture, because we are not sure that from production to till harvesting so many field operations are there. In that, if sudden climate changes, sudden hazardous has taken place, ultimately the farm income, farm profitability, it will get affected. So, this also one of the burning challenges were faced by the Indian farmers. Second was market efficiency. This is very important. Still in the Indian context, especially in the rural area, we have lack of market facility. There is a problem with the intermediate middleman problem. We are not having for market structure to sell the products of the farmers. So that is the gap we are found in the Indian agriculture. Apart from that, rising the production cost. This is very important. No doubt we are in the food production, we are highest, but in another side, the input costs are very high, especially seeds, chemicals, fertilizers, irrigation, equipments, harvesting equipments. So that's why that is one of the major challenging faced by the Indian agriculture. Okay. So apart from that, to overcome these type of challenges, government has changed. Government has planned that why can't we go to an expert committee to solve those problems. Okay. That is what expert committees were framed, because before implementation of this expert committee during the 2000 periods, the farmers are facing the problems, especially in the state of like Maharashtra, Punjab, farmer suicide attempts. Okay, even crop failure, crop damage, right? So to overcome those problems, even climate change also one of the aspects. To overcome those problems, the government has think that to improve self-confidence of the farmers, government has think why can't we go with the framing of an expert committee to solve those problems and challenges. Okay. So in that context, the Swaminathan Committee during the period of 2004 to 6, this committee has framed, and Ashok Dalwai Committee, right? So during the period of 2016. So in brief, the Swaminathan Commission, as we all know that he is the father of Indian Green Revolution. He made a lot many drastic change in the Indian agriculture sector. He is the father of Green Revolutions. So during the period of 1960s, by in terms of agriculture production growth, he made a contributed a significant role. Okay. Simultaneously, Ashok Dalwai is an additional agriculture secretary for the government of India for the agriculture and farmer welfare department. So, these two committees, they have given their expertise view in the sector of agriculture sector to improve the farm income, farm profitability and to improve the living standard of the farmers. So, now we will discuss one by one how these policies they have made important role. Okay. First, we will go with the MS Swaminathan Commission during the 2004 and 6. Before start of this, what is the necessity of this MS Swaminathan Committee recommendations, especially in the agriculture sector? Okay. So, here we can see that during the midst of 2000 period, there were lot many farmer crisis has taken place, especially farmer suicides part of Maharashtra, even Punjab, Haryana states, even due to crop damage, crop loss due to natural calamities. So, totally farmers have got less yield, less income from the agriculture sector. To overcome those problems, the MS Swaminathan Committee has suggested some of the recommendations to the government, okay, to boost on the agriculture sector. So, it was during the 2000 period, 2000 to 2006. So, officially known as National Commission on Farmers. Shortly we can call it as National Commission on NCF. So, it was established during 2004 by the government of India, right. So, as we know that he is a father of Indian Green Revolutions. So, he submitted the 5 reports, okay. So, first off he is specially focused on 5 reports, especially water, rural credit facilities, even climate based and even profitability of farm income. So, like that he submitted 5 reports during the period from 2000 to 2006 in their recommendation. In terms of recommendation he suggested the main objective of this MS Swaminathan Committee that to improve farmers welfare, that is important, no doubt. After Green Revolution we have succeeded in agriculture production, but in terms of profitability we are facing the problems, okay. So, in terms of real income of the farmers, per capita of income of the farmers has to improve, that is what farmers welfare. In that the committee has suggested some recommendation and enhancing the agriculture productivity, not only in terms of production, is to go with a sustainable form. So, that is what the MS Swaminathan Committee has suggested, okay. Now, we will focus on that what actually this MS Swaminathan Committee has framed the policies and recommendations, okay. Here the MS Swaminathan Commission has recommended that MSP, you know that MS minimum support price, this is a price guaranteed by the government for the produce of the farmers, okay. That is nothing but MSP, minimum support price, okay. Here he made even a cost principle, okay. So, here we can see that C2 concept plus 50% of the, I will explain in detail. So, in the next slide, profit margin. So, he introduced the concept of cost principle, right. So, in that cost principle he added the cost 1, cost 2 principle, and apart from that 50% of the profit margin in which it has to receive from MSP, okay. So, here cost 2 includes cultivation of expenses, okay. So, cultivation of expenses in the sense it may be input costs, seeds, fertilizers, chemicals, irrigation source, right. Even family labours also it will include it, and rental value of the land, and lastly interest on capital. So, this is nothing but C2 cost, C2 cost, okay. Now, next is the recommendation aims to provide fair and remunerative price to their produce of the farmers, okay. Now, the main intention behind it protects the farmers from market fluctuation of prices and distress sale. So, that is why this C2 cost and 50% of the margin formula has introduced by MS Swaminathan, okay. Now, next is we will understand clearly what actually this concept MSP at C2 and 50%, okay. Here we will understand more clearly. This is famous, this is the most famous and debated recommendation of the Swaminathan Commission. Very interesting and very methodological, practical oriented formulas they have framed by the MS Swaminathan Committee. So, what actually we will discuss? So, MSP is nothing but, so is the price guaranteed by the government to the farmers for their produce. That is nothing but MSP. It acts as a price floor. If the market falls below the MSP, right, the government procures the crops at MSP. So, this is one of the catalyst for the farmers during their critical stage at the while selling their commodities in the market. Okay. So, currently this Commission on Agriculture Cost and Prices are controlling of these are controlling, not only controlling, and these are the government bodies will frame the fix the MSP price for right now. Currently 23 crops are getting MSP across the India. Okay. Now, what actually this C2 plus 50% formula we can understand here. So, here understanding the cost concept in agriculture, we can see that 3 cost concept we can see when while calculating the MSP. So, MSP can be calculated based on this 3 cost concept, and we will know that what actually it includes. Here one you can see that A1 cost. Here A1 costs I told these are the input costs. This is nothing but seeds, it may be seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, even hired labours, fuels, and also irrigation cost also, etc. So, these are nothing but A1 cost we can consider in A1 cost. Second one is A2 plus family labor. Here this one is we can totally C1 cost, that is cost A1 plus imputed value of farming family labor we can consider as a A2 plus family labor cost, right. So, in a nutshell we can see that in C2 cost, A2 cost, that is cost 1 plus imputed value plus along with the family labor and rental value of the land and interest owned capital. In a nutshell, that is nothing but comprehensive cost. So, this is nothing but C2 plus this is C2 cost. Okay. So, here Swaminathan recommendation is confines that MSP has to calculate based on C2 cost plus 50% of the margin. Okay. This means farmer should get at least 1.5 times of the comprehensive cost of the production as MSP. Then only farmer can get at least reasonable price for their commodities. So, this is nothing but C2 plus 50% of the margin. So, this is how very practically with the conceptual framework has made by the MS Swaminathan Committee. Now, why C2 and why not A2? We can understand here. The current government calculates MSP on the basis of A2 plus FL, that is family labor, not C2. Here A2 plus family labor underestimates the true cost of farming by ignoring. This is very important. Here opportunity cost of the land, what the land could earn if rented out, that one is very important. Interest on farmers own capital investment is there. By using C2, Swaminathan has ensured that all economic costs are compensated, not just cash expenses, right. So, this is very important. And why 50% margin they have kept, okay, right. Here we can understand that if 50% of the margin above cost gives farmers at a reasonable profit, at least reasonable price can get farmers for their commodities, not a just cost recovery. Okay. It acknowledges that farming is a risky business. Why this 50%? He is giving an explanation that agriculture is a risky business and farmers deserve a return on risk. This is very important. Okay. So, it also helps the farm income and reduce the rural and urban income gap. So, that is why they made a one cost concept for fixing the MSP, okay, here cost with the 50% margin, profit margin, okay, right. Apart from that, this methodology, So, MS Swaminathan has made a certain recommendation. Here we can see that it promotes ENAM for better market access and prices. As we all know that its ENAM is nothing but Electronic National Agriculture Market System. It is one of the online trading platform for farmers to link with across the APMCs. It is connecting with the local mandis. Farmer, they can sell their produce commodities across the India by connecting this ENAM, Electronic National Agriculture Market System, so that we can avoid the middlemen's, commission agents, so and so. Farmers can get better price for that commodity. So, that is the main intention behind ENAM. Okay. So, that is, it is one of the best platform for market access. In a nutshell, we can call it as one of the best platform to get profit for their commodities by the farmers. Okay. And second one is farmer schools. So, in the alternatively we can call it as Kishan Pathshala. In the rural area, especially by the help of progressive farmers, we can start with the farmer schools, that is nothing but Kishan Pathshalas. The main intention behind for making this Kishan Pathshala is nothing to aware the farmers to adopt new methodological agriculture practices in their farm, to get continuous income from their farm and application of advancement in agriculture sector. Okay. Sharing of advanced agriculture practices in their field. So, that is nothing but Kisan Pathshalas in the rural area. Okay. So, this is one thing, and create a grain and fodder bank for food and livestock security. This is very important. Another recommendation the Swaminathan Committee has suggested that we should create a grain bank. The main motto of this grain bank is during drought season, during flood season, during fluctuation of commodities at the deficit time, in the farmer level, in the rural area itself, farmer level has to make a grain bank, so that for sowing for next season they can use for those grains. That is nothing but grain banks. And second one is fodder bank. This is nothing but to ensure the livestock security. So, especially growing of advanced high yielding varieties for the production of fodder crops. Okay. So, to get year round income, that is very important. Okay. At the end, to ensure livestock security, the committee has decided to make grain bank and fodder banks at the rural area. Okay. At the end, in a nutshell, we can see that these policies improve farm income, profitability and long term agriculture sustainability. We should emphasize that here. We should go with one head step production to one head to profitability, per capita of income of the farmers, we used to think, for sustainable mode. That is why agriculture has to make enterprise form. Okay, in the business mode we used to think. So, those things they have suggested in the committee. Now, coming to the Ashok Dalwai Committee. So, here we can study in detail about what the committee has suggested. Ashok Dalwai. Okay, here it was constituted during 2016 under Ashok Dalwai. Especially he targeted on doubling the farmers income, okay, by 2023. You should understand before study of this topic, this recommendations, doubling the farmers of income. So, we should make it twice time the real income of the farm household, not a farm. So, we should go with the production to profitability mode. Each household income has to income. If you increase the production, you won't get better income, not in that way. You should increase the each household income. That is what the doubling farmers income by making profitable manner farm income. Okay. So, he addressed the low incomes, rising the cost and climatic risk. So, in these three aspects he focused by these Dalwai Committee. He recommended market infrastructure and value addition reforms. So, here first one we will discuss the market, it is very important. So, still in Indian condition the market sector is lack of poor infrastructures. We have proper good market connectivity between rural to urban. So, that one has to modify, and we wish to avoid that market middlemen in the intermediates. Okay. So, that one he emphasized that one, and even value addition. I will give a simple example, value additions. Okay. Here everybody knows that from tomato we can do ketchup, right, and even from milk to even buttermilk, curd, right, cheese we can make. So, these things we can do. It's nothing but food processing, value addition in agriculture sector. So, he emphasized food processing so that we can create employment also and we can go with the advanced version of agriculture, okay, to improve the farmer per capita income, farm income, okay. So, and each household income, because so in our Indian agriculture 60 to 80% of the farm work will be done by women farmers, okay. So, here we should understand that we should not consider farm wives, because we should consider women farmers, not a farmer wives. So, we should consider women as a farmer women, because they are also contributing 60 to 80% of the agriculture works. Especially you can take this dairy sector, poultry sector, okay, even for goat farming. So, major contribution has made by women farmers, okay. So, this is one thing. So, some of the major recommendation is suggested by the Ashok Dalwai Committee. So, especially focus on increasing the farmers income rather than agriculture production. I told here rather than increasing the farmers income. So, here in terms of agriculture production is to go with the farmers per capita income, per real income of the farmers has to increase. That is one. Especially landowners, tenant farmers, sharecroppers and agriculture laborers in policy benefits. All these category of the farmers has to get. Earlier is to get landowners only. Entire landowners they used to get the profit. But in this committee they have suggested whoever it may be, either it may be landowners, tenant farmers, sharecroppers and agriculture laborers, everyone has to get benefit from that agriculture sector. This is one thing. So, here for that another policy has recommended, that is public and private investment in irrigation, research and rural infrastructure. This is very important. Still in the Indian condition, majority of the farmers are practicing old traditional methods of agriculture practice. They used to get one step advance, especially in the public investment. They used to go with the advanced irrigation system like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, advanced research, growing of high yielding varieties to improve the agriculture productivity, to get better farm income, okay. So, these things has to focus. Lastly, rural infrastructure. So, this committee has again emphasized that rural infrastructures. So, we should develop connectivity between rural to urban for transportations, for storage, even seed storage, everything is to create under rural infrastructure, okay. Next is promote high value agriculture crops such as horticulture, dairy, fishery, poultry and floriculture. So, I will give with the example here. We can see that horticulture sector, if you compare with the growing of agriculture crops, third, so if you go with the cereal crops, third times fetch increase in the price for growing of horticulture crops. So, horticulture crops having more valuable compared to cereal crop, okay. This is one thing. Dairy, it is a year round income enterprise, entire year you can get the income from that enterprise. Even fisheries, we can see, we can make out the blue economic potential across the India, right. Even poultry, and poultry you can get the continuous income from, especially to make it women empowerment, right. Even floriculture, this has the option to make export import business across the global level. So, this is how the committee has made a systematic framework to improve the farm income in a systematic way from production centric to income centric level, right. You should understand production centric to income centric, it is nothing but the farmers profitability, farm income profitability has to improve, okay. This is one thing. And apart from that, developed a unified national market, strengthen the farmer producer organizations. Here unified national market is nothing but ENAM. I told electronic national agriculture market, it is nothing but connecting with all across the APMC to local mandis, okay. So, even strengthen the farmer producer organizations, okay. So, by use of this farmer production is a like minded of collective group of farmers. So, they used to grow with the high value crop, especially district based, one district one crop like that. So, if you grow that collective group of farming, obviously you will get good price for that crops, okay. So this is the intention behind to strengthen the farmers organization. Apart from that, the again committee has suggested some of the policies. Mainly this committee has recommended especially land reform. So this committee has suggested digitalization of land record, okay, and also even expand the institutional credit facility. So every land records has to make digitalization, linking with Aadhaars with the new data has to upload, mapping with their field. So that one, so that farmers can get all the beneficiary scheme, easy to get rural, institutional credit, okay. So this is one thing. And next is food processing, storage, packaging and branding for value addition. So they have also emphasized that, so farmer has to make, agriculture in a profitable manner by adopting value addition based methodologies in their agriculture sector, right, especially food processing, storage, packaging and branding and value addition of this crop, and even expanding warehousing and cold storage facilities to reduce the post harvest losses. Nearly 20 to 30% of the horticulture produced, wastage by especially lack of storage facilities in India. Here the committee has suggested construction of warehouse in a rural area, so that farmer can store horticulture crop for a longer time, because horticulture crops are perishable in nature. So construction of cold store chain, so that farmer can store whenever get high price, they can sell their produce with to get profit, okay. This is one thing. And apart from that, strengthen the crop insurance and promote climate resilient agriculture. This is very important. So rural, at the time of crop damage, crop loss, sudden hazards, right, drought situation, the government has to take more initiative to get successful insurance for their crop of the farmers. That one has to take care, and promote climate resilient agriculture. This is very important, okay. So growing of advanced agriculture practices in the agriculture field, especially growing of high yielding varieties, adoption of scientific methodological innovations in agriculture practice, that has suggested by the committee, okay. And lastly, that adopt data driven policy. Still in the Indian condition, still we are lagging behind to maintain the records of the lands, okay. We do not have advanced data methodological tools to store the land records, and even through regular monitoring the farmers income state wise, okay. So we used to develop state wise, crop wise, we used to monitor the farm incomes year by year, how much farmers are getting for that crop, we used to analyze, so that we can predict which crop we used to grow for further. So we used to develop in a farm income monitoring cell in across the state wise, so that we can analyze that which crops are beneficial, which crops are climate resilient wise. So those things we used to develop in the form of data driven policies, okay. So we can see that these are some of the previous years questions. We can see that especially civil service examination from the point of Swaminathan Committee, we can see that based on National Commission on farmers purchased by MS Swaminathan, right. Here Ashok Dalwai, right. So this is how the previous year questions can be useful for civil service examinations. Thank you so much.